I thought you might return. Now, where were we? I told you about the folly of Aristagoras and the great king's wrath. There was Themistocles, the defense of Greece, and the rise of Athens. Ah, yes. Brasidas and Lysander, and the great war that tore Greece apart. My, we really did cover quite a lot. Perhaps this time I'll stick to a single subject. While the Greeks squabbled endlessly, to their north there lay the entirely unremarkable kingdom of Macedon, a poor, rugged land, its borders beset by belligerent neighbors and driven from within by feuding nobles. For centuries, the kings of Macedon had done all they could just to hold this fragile fiefdom together. Glorious expansion was out of the question.
Hold the line! Any man who turns his back will answer to me! Alexander! Make yourself useful and go protect the baggage camp. And take that horrible horse with you. It's spooking the others.
Finally, Bucephalus. A chance for glory.
Be vigilant, boy. These Scythians are swift as they are devious. If they didn't all reek of mare's milk, you'd have no clue they were nearby until they slit your throat.
I shall not disappoint you, father. This camp will not fall.
Scythians heading to your camp, Alexander. You'd better be ready for them. If you look weak, I look weak. Kill every one of them. You're in a man's world now.
Is there nothing more princely for me to do, father?
You could get out of my ear and go and see what Clytus and Parmenion might want with you. Do as they tell you, and no more, boy.
What grand beasts these horses are. What fierce power just waiting to be unleashed. They need only be spooked, and down the valley they will rush, over the bodies of their masters. Fly! Fly, golden-maned children of Poseidon!
Prince Alexander, your father says I should put you to use. A Scythian convoy will arrive soon. Take your men to the valley, hide in the tall grass, and then seize the wagons for me.
Hiding, then stealing? This is thieves' work, Parmenion.
A worthwhile lesson, Alexander. A good commander waits, then strikes at the most opportune time. He does not go charging around like Achilles on the rampage. Now, bring me those supplies.
I've half a mind to keep this for myself. They're my spoils. Spear one.
As menos.
You steer those carts so well, Alexander. Have you ever considered a career as a drover?
You may be father's favorite, Parmenion. But one day I will be king.
The Scythians quiver like barley awaiting the scythe. Parmenion, Clytus, form up and push.
Where should I station my men, father?
In their tents. You will not participate.
All right, lad, you can come watch the battle. Just don't tell your father I let you through.
Atheas! I am Alexander, Crown Prince of Macedon. I have sought you out in the fray that we, two men of royal blood, might decide this day. Behold, Scythians! Your leader lies dead, and fiery-eyed Phobos, god of dread and rout, runs screaming through your ranks!
You're a disobedient wretch, boy. Things went well this time, but mark yourself. A hunting dog that slips the leash will eventually get put down. Now help load up the loot. We're going home.
Now sat proudly astride his mount, Alexander accompanied his victorious father on the road home to Macedon, through the rocky territory of the Tribali. It was to prove an eventful journey.
Philip! You seem to be using my lands as a highway, and I'm honored for sure. But it is my right as king to extract tolls, fares, levies, etc. So give me some of that gold, eh?
You know who I am, barbarian? I'm no merchant. I am King of Macedon, master of the plains and of the mountains. Now move, or I will gut you like a suckling pig.
You are a very unpleasant man, Philip. Archers!
Alexander! Take the cavalry and kill those bowmen! Do not let those slathering jackals lay a finger on my loot! Get us out of this gorge! I shall... yes. I'll have a little rest on this cart.
The way ahead is blocked. We shall camp here while we clear the rocks.
They're coming for the plunder! Don't let them get those carts! That's our loot, and I'm not about to let them loot it!
Thundering Zeus! These tattooed reprobates are everywhere!
The rocks are almost cleared. There are two paths ahead. I suggest we take the more direct one.
Swarming with Tribali, no doubt. Take the longer route, the safer route. King would agree with me, Clytus.
Well, in his absence, we do have the Crown Prince. Alexander, what do you say?
Wolves! Stay together and run them through.
The more numerous the enemy, the greater the glory.
All right, time to move.
What did I tell you? One of those Tribali nearly took my head off. Set up camp on that hill. It's the safest location.
So that! Camp where supplies are plentiful. What do you say, Alexander?
We shan't squeeze through some narrow canyon while the Tribali take potshots at us. We head through the valley.
How much further, Clytus? The wounded outweigh the loot.
If the scouts are right, we're almost clear. But there's a Tribali camp blocking the exit.
I shall clear the way. It is what my father would do. By my sword, I have carved us a path home. Follow me, men of Macedon!
On campaign with his father, Alexander had finally been given the chance to prove himself. Things were not always so harmonious between father and son. Alexander's fiercely protective mother, Olympias, was not Philip's only wife. Nor was she a full-blooded Macedonian.
Here is the man who would lead you from Europe into Asia, and he can't even cross from one couch to the next.
Astride the road to Chaeronea, the Greek forces waited. On their right, the Athenians, their empire long diminished but their pride irrepressible. On their left, the Thebans, among their ranks the elite Sacred Band. From the north, their long pikes swaying above storms of dust, came the Macedonians. And on their flank, with full command of the king's finest cavalry, was Alexander.
Alexander, see those Thebans opposite your flank? I want you to break them. Then me and Parmenion can shatter the rest. Clytus, keep an eye on the boy.
Aye, sir. Right, Alexander. Rule number 1 of pitched engagements. Control the ground, control the battle. You want to be fighting them out there, not fending them off from your camp.
Alexander, I hear you didn't lose a single wagon to those pilfering Trebalians. So you get a share of the spoils. Finally, something earned through your own sweat, not just your fortunate birth. Macedonians! I won't bore you with oratory. Let me just recall what these Greeks say about you. They say your victories were won through luck, not skill. They call you brigands, not soldiers. They say you plunder sanctuaries and debauch yourselves in holy shrines. They call you drunkards. They call you liars. They call you scum. They call me a barbarian. Me! A descendant of Heracles! Well, by the 12 gods, today I'll tear their tongues from their lying mouths and let them choke on their slander. The lavender grows thick in these perfumed valleys, like a summer garden, like maidens by a stream. And we'll stomp it into ruin, as men do.
Look at these Theban panoplies. Gleaming shields, ashwood spears, crested helmets that could make serving boys look like myrmidons. What do you want done with it all?
They died well and deserve our respect. We shall send the panoplies back to Thebes. The pitiless spirits of death, those black-winged keres, stalk you, Thebans. Your commanders they drag by the feet down to the dismal halls of Hades. Flee now, before you join them in death! Stand tall, men! Imagine the terror those Greeks will feel. They entrusted their flank to the Thebans, but from the dust and tumult we will emerge, thundering forth the very image of death!
You chose this, Greeks. I didn't ask for your cities, or your treasures, or your love. I asked only that you recognize the law of power and submit.
At Charonia, amid the bodies skewered by pikes and mangled by swords, the city-states of Greece had their hopes of independence trampled into the mud. Philip could finally turn his gaze eastwards, to his long-held ambition of plundering the rich Persian Empire. His hopes, however, were suddenly and brutally snuffed out. An assassin's blade jammed fiercely between Philip's ribs. The Lion of Macedon bled out in the dust, a fate he had brought upon so many others. And so it came to pass that Alexander, merely 20 summers of age, ascended to the throne of Macedon. The nobles swore him fealty, some gladly, some reluctantly, some out of duty and some out of calculation. Some were never given the choice, struck down on the new king's orders before they could cause trouble. Assassination, you see, was something of a staple of Macedonian politics. Equally routine was the propensity of Macedon's northern neighbors to invade whenever a king died, like jackals converging on a fresh carcass when a lion has moved away. The gleaming diadem of royalty set freshly upon his brow, Alexander marched north, where the first true test of his reign awaited.
Alexander, the border towns need your help. Fight beside me, Hephaestion, as we did when we were boys.
They've fled for now, but no doubt they'll be back to raid the towns.
I shall protect our people. Let Zeus bear witness. Hephaestion, dearest friend, will you stay and advise me?
Gladly, Alexander. I'll speak plainly as a true friend should. Wearing the crown is one thing, but only deeds will prove to your subjects that you can rule. Keep their towns safe, and when ready, strike against the tribes that ravage them. Such wanton destruction! Asmenos. The townsfolk speak of monstrous wolves lurking in the foothills. What do you say, Alexander? Shall we grab the hunting spears?
Distress signals from the outlying towns. They're under attack. Treachery, an uprising. Your father knew well how to deal with insurrection. Cut out the rot before it spreads.
Another revolt. These traitors never learn.
Zeus, father of gods and men, witness the temple we raise for you. And if it please you, bless our future endeavors in Asia, that we might make further offerings with the gold of the Persians.
Philip was beastly to you. If he could see you now, he would be impressed, whether he'd admit it or not.
Nothing I did ever impressed my father. And the things I will achieve, even he won't be able to scorn. The Tribali should have cut us down when they had us trapped in those bleak ravines. They will stalk us no longer.
The siege engineers are cooking up some real delights for you, Alexander. Your foes won't stand a chance.
Pelion's mountains were its bulwark. Now the valleys echo with the sound of its collapse.
They say the Getae are the noblest of the Thracians. Noble. They wait for a king to die and swoop down upon defenseless border towns while his pyre still smolders.
None question you any longer, Alexander. Now, my king, let's finish off those tribes.
None yet stand against me. I could not have done this without you, Hephaestion. As the bard says, a friend with an understanding heart
is worth no less than a brother.
Not all of the northern tribes were foolish enough to pick a fight with Alexander. Like a keen-eyed jeweler, able to discern the potential in a rough and unshaped stone, King Langaros of the Agrianians chose to ingratiate himself with the Macedonian monarch. Langaros informed Alexander that a tribe known as the Outariatai were planning to attack the Macedonians, and even more helpfully, Langaros offered to deal with them himself. Alexander gladly accepted. And so, from every hamlet and township in the Strymon Valley, Langaros called upon his forces. Swift peltasts, clutching their throwing spears tight, cavalrymen atop hardy horses well used to cantering through rocky hills, stout infantrymen armed with that wicked long blade, the Romphire. To ensure their commitment, Langaros spoke to them of duty. To bolster their fortitude, he invoked the gods. But to strengthen their zeal, Langaros promised them plunder.
Never you fear, noble Clytus. We shall scour these valleys of those treacherous tribes who would dare to defy your honored king.
So this isn't just an excuse for you to line your coffers.
Clytus, please. I'm just being a worthy friend to your new king. If I happen to profit along the way, that's just a sure sign that the gods bless our alliance. Right, men. We shall strike out against their villages. Plunder them, as they have so often done to us. Sitalkes, you recall last winter, they stole your prize pig! Bryzos, look at your shield. The boss is still missing. No doubt tucked away in one of these squalid hamlets. So you see, boys, we're not here as plunderers. We're just taking back what's ours! They know we're here, men. They guard their gold with their lives. So we shall take both.
The Outariatai are massive north of here. You folk have experience building in these unaccommodating hills. Think you could fortify the pass?
Silver pitchers, golden drinking horns, jeweled fibulae. Very tasteful. Bring the gold to me, boys. Any jewelry, any cauldrons, any diamond-encrusted nail clippers, you can take home to your wives. Let them know you're worth their time.
Ares favors you, Langaros. Judging by that loot, Hermes does too.
Take what you can carry, and then take more! So, now that he's gone, What did you really think of old King Philip?
He was a brute. A womanizer. Drunken. Foul-tempered, coarse. Devious. Followed him to the ends of the earth.
Those forts did their job, eh, Clytus? See? I'm not just a brawler. I'm something of an architect, too. Raskos, son of Zoltes, dead by my hand. You won't be snatching ornaments from above my hearth any longer, eh?
Fight well, Langaros. Keep this up. Alexander will be desperate to have the Agrianians along when we invade Persia.
Persia? By Hermes. All this effort to befriend the lad and he's off to get himself killed in Asia. Was this the tribe that raided us the summer before last? Took my best blade. Oh well, looks like I've got it back. You Macedonians seal all your alliances through marriage, right? Now I've heard that Alexander's half-sister is very fetching.
You want to marry a daughter of Philip? Brave man, Langaros. Oh, she'd put your household in order, that's for sure.
Look at these coins. Old King Codus's face on every one. The great Thracian unifier. How sad he'd be to see us all back to plundering one another. Oh well, this'll buy me a new battle axe or two. I've heard that the late Philip's right-hand man, what's his name? Herminion? Didn't get along too well with young Alexander.
Well, Parmenian's been a miserable grouch since he left his mother's womb. But he is a dutiful servant of Macedon, and he's pledged himself to Alexander. Parmenian's the one who's going to establish our bridgehead in Persia.
Tell your king the Agrianians fought as if the gods themselves were watching. And if they weren't, they missed a fine show.
Aye, I'll tell him just that. And I'm quite certain there will be a place for your men when we sail to Asia.
While Alexander had been away in the north, making friends and slaughtering foes, rumors were spreading in Greece.
I have it on good authority that the tyrant Alexander is dead, and with him that feckless rabble that his barbarous father called an army. Now is the time to rise up, cast out the garrisons that he imposed on your 5 cities, and retake your liberty!
By the 12 gods, we're surrounded! Where is Alexander? I signed up.
We're sick of the sight of you Macedonian rats infesting the sacred Cadmea. We're coming up, and your bloated corpses are going to tumble down!
I don't want to be a bloated corpse. Bar the gates, man the barricades, wake up the sentries!
We're gonna keep coming, Macedonians. I had brothers at Chronicles, and I'll honor their memories by bashing your skulls into pulp!
Artemis Satera, oh light-bringing goddess, take pity.
The king isn't coming, Macedonian. You're going to die up there. And for what?
Oh, beautiful Artemis, I ask you, beg you, goddess, preserve me and I'll sacrifice...
Well, this is quite the situation. You lot still alive up there?
General Perdiccas, oh, thank the gods.
Is Alexander here?
He's not far behind. You boys, hold on just a little while longer. And try not to sound so scared, Aeropods. Sets a bad example.
Swift-footed Artemis, strong-voiced Artemis, fast-shooting Artemis, don't let me die!
Watch out! Alexander's on the horizon. The Thebans are already diverting their men to the outer walls. Now finish off the ones on the Cadmea. Make yourselves presentable.
Thebans! I have no wish to be your conqueror. Join me willingly, and I shall gladly count you among our ranks when we cross into Asia.
There's Caracas! You milk-sucking sons of sows!
They'll regret that. You boys in the garrison! Now that the Thebans are focused on us, you go cause some chaos in the city.
The supplies are out. We must go and get more, even if it's dangerous. You sent a patrol after us.
Ah, a fine catch. I wouldn't go splashing around in that river, though. Half the city's chamber pots end up in there. Our boys in the city have been wreaking merry havoc, and the Thebans are in disarray. Time to strike, I reckon.
Hearken to me, soldiers! None of us wished to bring death upon this eminent city. But just as the Thebans once forsook their Greek brothers and sided with the Persians, so now they have chosen perfidy and sedition. They assault our comrades on the Cadmea, our stout-hearted friends. Rush forth now to their aid. You have your orders. Seize the city. Raise our banners in its most hallowed precincts, and let the Thebans see that they rule here no longer.
I return from rocky Thrace. I think Langaros will prove an enthusiastic ally, and he offers you these strapping warriors.
The House of Pindar is not to be looted, torched, or in any way vandalized. That ancient poet once honored my family in verse. He alone among these brutes recognized the greatness of the Argians. Slake your thirst at the fountain of Ares. Fill yourselves with his love of strife. For there is still bloody work to do this day. Amphion, O son of Zeus, who blessed this city with its walls in the age of heroes, I stand humbly before your tomb. Accept these offerings of oil and honey, and know that the violence I did to your creation was no affront to you. When ivy-wreathed Dionysus came upon Thebes and demanded that King Pentheus recognize his power, he was spurned, and the wrath of Dionysus was terrible indeed. When I stood before your walls and made my demands, Thebans, you should have remembered the fate of Pentheus.
We hold the city, Alexander. No resistance left. I'll recall the soldiers.
You know, my father once destroyed Olympus after it betrayed him. I thought that was cruelty. But now I see. Either you make the price of rebellion clear, or you invite the knife in the back. Let the men loose. Let Thebes burn.
Alexander's destruction of Thebes was near total. All that he allowed to remain were the temples, the ancient Cadmea, and the house of the poet Pindar. The rest of the rebellious Greeks immediately surrendered, and Alexander could once again turn his gaze towards Persia. As was only natural before such a grand expedition, Alexander went to Delphi, seeking the wisdom of the god Apollo. When Alexander arrived, he was told that Apollo's priestess was absent from the temple, this being a day when prophecies were forbidden. But Alexander, believing that his will surpassed any sacred rules, marched to the priestess's quarters and began to drag her towards the temple, determined that she would tell him his fate. "My son!" exclaimed the terrified priestess. "You are unconquerable!" The Persians had time for no such frivolities. They assembled their forces at the river Granicus, trusting in its steep banks and fast-flowing waters to deter Alexander's onslaught. Alexander gazed at the army arrayed against him, a host more numerous than any he had yet faced. The steeds of the Persian nobles strutting along the serried ranks, their riders eagerly watching for a glimpse of the invader they wished to slay. Upon a single charge across the Granicus, Alexander would stake the fate of his entire expedition.
The Persians hold a stout position and have the benefit of rest. Our men are tired from the march. Reconsider your assault, I urge you.
Cry Zeus Soter and charge! Here we go, lads. Kill their commanders and break their spirits!
Our line is broken! You have led us all to ruin, boy!
I did not cross the Hellespont to be waylaid by this puny stream. Form up. You will take the infantry on the left and center, while I shall lead the cavalry on the right, as befits a king's honor. I shall break the Persians' morale, so long as you do not flee first. Macedonians! Many of you served my father, who led you to victories against the warlike Thracians, the savage Illyrians, the hard-riding Scythians. Fine victories. But look at the host against whom I lead you today. The finest soldiers of the Persian Empire. How splendid their costumes! How lustrous their horses! How magnificent their banners! Have you ever seen so grand an army? Now think of the glory when you rout them today! Imagine the trophies you will hang above your hearths! Here, ringing in your ears the acclamation that you fought beside Alexander on the day of his greatest victory! Cry Zeus Soter and charge! Seize that Persian command post! Run hard, silver-maned stallions, like luminous comets through an ashen sky.
Persian field hospital. Seize it and stop them patching up their sickly conscripts.
Tunic is bandaged. patch yourselves up and get back in the fight.
Let the Persians see their banners burn. Turn those fine pigments black.
Another brave captain lost. You must support the infantry, Alexander. Thundering Zeus! How many veteran officers will we lose this day? What are you doing, Alexander? The men can't hold much longer.
If it's bleeding, staunch. If it's dislocated, relocate it. Then get back on your horses and into the fray.
Oi, moi, Talas! Another officer dead!
Sacred fires, thronged with chanting magi, exhorting the foe to greater feats. Douse their flames! See, Persians! Your once mighty fires now reduced to sputtering embers. There! The breastplate of Rosarches, foremost among these satraps in valor. The honor of killing him will be mine alone. Mithridates! Face me, man!
These golden trinkets are ours now.
They are broken! By the 12 gods, I triumph!
Not yet. Persians may have fled, but their Greek mercenaries remain, encamped in the hills at the rear.
What self-respecting Greek would serve the Persian king? I shall deal with these myself. Each company is to send me the man who most distinguished himself today. These will form my hunting party.
The ravine divides here. They're holding both paths. You take one group out, and the other will have to fall back before they're outflanked.
Perdiccas, more reserves. Those men Parmenion gave me lacked the requisite spirit.
The others are retreating. Push on.
The day has been long, but do not slacken now, brave soldiers.
Forgive us, Lord Alexander! Forgive us and spare our lives!
Mercy is the gift of the strong, and I bestow it on you. A fine victory, Macedonians, and the first of many! Let Darius bear witness. I am not some marauder to be dealt with by his lackeys. I am King Alexander, and I lay claim to this realm.
Like the kings of Homer's Iliad, vying for glory in the foremost ranks, Macedonian monarchs led from the front, and few with such zeal as Alexander. At the Granicus, he plunged into the fray, as a famished wolf darts among a grazing flock, tearing at sheep and shepherd alike. But Alexander ventured too far, and a Persian horseman brought his sword swinging towards the king's neck. But Clytus, lurching forward, sliced the Persian's arm from his shoulder. His first victory over the Mede in hand, and feeling just as invincible as the Pythian priestess had proclaimed him, Alexander marched on. His target was the coastal city of Halicarnassus, its grand harbor ringed by walls flecked with sea foam, where the great warrior queen Artemisia had once ruled. You see, Alexander had a rather unconventional plan to deal with the Persian navy. Rather than build a fleet and fight them at sea, he'd simply use his army to capture the Persian naval bases, one by one. The rightful queen of Halicarnassus was Ada II, a wise and learned woman, and a gracious benefactor of the temple at Delphi. But, deposed by her brother, Ada now languished in exile, until the arrival of Alexander presented her with an opportunity. The exiled queen welcomed Alexander, putting her wealth, her followers, and her considerable knowledge at his disposal. So splendidly did they get along Ada even adopted Alexander as her own son. The siege of Halicarnassus, then, would be a family affair.
Halicarnassus, jewel of Iomia, now swarming with Persian rogues and their Greek mercenaries. Return my city to me, Alexander.
It will be so, I swear it. For a siege is no more than a battle of wills. The foe will come upon us with all the ferocity of desperate men. But if we shatter their strongholds, they will abandon the defenses.
Bears! Not the only den around here, if those half-eaten forages are anything to go by.
Heracles blesses this hunt. Skin the bears and look for more.
There is a village nearby, Alexander. No doubt they despise the Persians' presence as much as I do. Perhaps they'd be willing to help.
Who are you? Persian? Greek? A Macedonian, you say? Gods give me strength. Whatever. Look, you replace the provisions those lice-ridden mercenaries nicked from us, and we'll make it worth your while.
A shepherd making demands of a king? Philip would not have entertained this.
Hungry beasts, these catapults. We'll need to bring in more ammunition. No doubt our foes will try to stop us. They've hit the cart. We'll bring in more, but we'll need to defend them.
Your blood parents must be fine folk to have raised such a son.
My father was a brute. My mother was a volatile snake charmer. More attentive to asps and vipers than her own brood.
I prefer you to the Persians already, let me tell you. Here, there's a way to get to one of those forts, a narrow pass, known only to us shepherds. We'll show you.
We have the first breach. Saffron-robed Enyo, wall breaker. Your favor grants us victory.
Some mercenaries of our own might prove useful here. I have identified some suitable candidates, ferocious as they are unmannered. Our engineers have forded the river. They claim the bridge can support our siege towers. Once they are constructed, we shall find out.
The siege towers are ready, Alexander. We'll dock them at the walls, then your men can get in, take out the garrison commanders, capture the fort.
Halicarnassus. I know her every street and avenue like the hands and heart of my own body. Every injury done to her I feel in my flesh.
Would that all the rulers in this world of dust and iron had such passion as you, Ada.
Another fort crumbles. Pallas Athena sees our efforts and she rewards us richly.
My royal armorer will provide you with whatever you need.
Dig, brave sappers. Though the earth keeps your deeds from sight, know that your king esteems your toil. The gates are shattered! Now bring down that fort!
What will it take to make these men surrender? I shall rule over naught but rubble and rotting corpses.
When I seize the treasuries of Susa, you will have all you need to restore these fine walls. To the rams, men, and be swift! Once beneath the gates, your work begins.
I love the sound of those iron-headed rams, like the fists of Zeus himself. On to the fort!
The walls empty. They flee to the harbor, crowding onto ships, bewailing their defeat. Queen Ada, retake your rightful place as ruler of this fine city.
Breaching Halicarnassus was a tremendous feat, as had been the victory at the Granicus. Not to mention the slew of cities throughout Asia Minor that had surrendered without a fight. Yet, the victory Alexander truly craved remained elusive. He set off once more, seeking a confrontation with the Persian king Darius III, named after the very monarch who had launched the first Persian invasion of Greece. From there, Alexander proceeded south, until he reached Cilicia. He began to feel a frightful heat rising in his breast. Then he broke into a wild sweat, frothing like a raging stallion. He flung himself into the icy cold waters of the river Kidnus, but emerged racked with cramps and fever. All of the king's physicians feared to administer a remedy. What dreadful tortures would await them if they failed, or worsened the king's condition? Only one, Philip of Acarnania, was willing to produce a cure. But as Alexander was about to raise the potion to his lips, a messenger passed him a letter from Parmenion, claiming that the Persian king had paid the doctor to poison him. Alexander looked the physician straight in the eye, and downed the cup in one go. At first, the king fell back, his breath lost, swooning into near unconsciousness. But then, as Philip attended to him, Alexander regained his senses and felt the cure work its way through his body. A period of rest was clearly in order. Alexander and his men, welcomed into the cities of Lower Cilicia, at last paused their relentless march.
By warm-hearted Hestia, it's good to be back in a proper city. And sat in a saddle so long, my knees feel like rotten timbers. Those wild-eyed savages who live up in the hills aren't too pleased to see us. I'll have to protect the foragers. Here, right.
My fever subsides. Fetch frankincense, and make offerings to Asclepius.
How good to see you well, King Alexander. I wonder what afflicted you.
Perhaps it has something to do with all these delightful bearskins you retrieved from Halicarnassus.
Darius is upon us! At last, the strings of fate draw us together. Fight me, King of Kings, and let undying glory be the victor's prize.
Glory? Do you think us duelists in a poem or a fable? I am Lord of Asia, blessed of Ahura Mazda, and I am here to evict a bandit from my realm.
My seers have sifted through sheep's entrails and beheld the flight of circling birds. Their omens speak ill of your future, Darius.
Disregard your wine-addled soothsayers. I have had Magi observe the movements of ants and beetles, examine the ripples of raindrops in sacred vessels, divine the stars above. All portend that no Macedonian will slay me.
Fascinating fauna in this region. Earlier, I sketched a bearded vulture. They actually disdain meat and live off bones. They drop them from great heights, smash them open, so they can suck out the marrow.
Ah, I forgot you were a naturalist as well as a sailor. It's like being lectured by Aristotle all over again, eh, Hephaestion?
You think yourself a lion, but you are a vulture. You despoil my cities. You choke my rivers with putrid corpses. You murder men by the thousand and strip them while they bleed.
You forget, Darius, your ancestors did all these things and more to the Greeks. And now, the wrath of the gods is come.
I have millions more, child. Uxians, Cadusians, Aracosians, men who seek battle as a hunting dog relishes the bloody chase. And here, my chariots adorned with ivory and amber and flesh-tearing steel.
Darius, you coward! Face me and prove your worth, you slinking jackal!
I have no need to throw away my kingdom in a single duel. A defeat for you means ruin, but I have millions more awaiting my summons.
So confident was Darius that he would triumph at Issus, he had brought his mother, wife, and daughters to the battle. So hastily did he flee, they were left behind for Alexander to capture. Like the women of Troy, powerless before their captors, Darius' family wept and lamented, imagining that their lot would now be misery and servitude. But Alexander treated them with perfect respect and allowed them every comfort to which they were accustomed. Alexander proceeded along the coast until he came to Tyre, that great city of the Phoenicians, set upon an offshore island as though the whole marvelous edifice floated on the sea. Alexander demanded entry to Tyre, wishing to sacrifice at the temple of Melkart. The Tyrians refused, and when Alexander sent messengers a second time, they were hurled into the sea from the city walls. An outrageous thing to do. But the Tyrians, their grand fortifications protected by the waves that lapped up against them, held the entirely reasonable expectation that Alexander would give up and move on. Alexander rarely did what you and I might consider reasonable. And so, work began on a vast causeway, a bridge of earth and rubble between Tyre and the mainland. The world reshaped at Alexander's command.
Seize the old town, where the craven Tyrians used to dwell before they slunk off to their island. Then we shall begin work on our causeway, and bring just retribution to those who would slay diplomats and emissaries.
This is madness, Alexander. Tyre is nearly 4 states from the mainland. Surely it is not worth the time, the effort, the lives that will be lost.
I have been wrong, Parmenion. Insulted, disregarded. No doubt a coward like you would let these Phoenicians bash down your door, spit in your hearth, kick your dog, and sleep in your bed. But I shall not stand for their abuse.
Right, you lot. Stones into the water, then drive stakes into the mud to keep them stable. Then you put the timbers on top. It won't look pretty, but it'll hold. That Tyrian navy is powerful. We don't have the materials or the knowledge to build anything that can rival them.
I have sent for Niarchos. He will soon come with a fleet and expert shipwrights to construct the vessels we need.
Your father knew when a fight was worth taking and when it was folly. Why must you indulge your every impulse?
I will not have limits put on my ambitions by the likes of you, Parmenion.
No, the gods will do that.
I'm sick of being pelted with bolts and arrows from those Tyrian ships. I tell you what we need. A helepolis. A big old siege tower with a ballista inside. That'll put some fear in them. What the? Look at this! I cracked open this loaf of bread and it's bleeding. Every loaf out of that oven, bloody as a raw steak. I'm no soothsayer, but that's a bad omen. No, this is wonderful. Don't you see? The bread bleeds from inside. It is the city. It is Tyre that will bleed.
Nekoranos.
Fine progress. Not as futile a plan as you thought, Parmenion.
Why do you so delight in defying good sense? Do you think your father achieved greatness by following every mad desire that entered his head? No. It was through careful consideration and the advice of experienced men that he built the kingdom which you insist on throwing into peril.
To avenge an insult, yes. And in any case, capturing Tyre will incapacitate the Persian navy, thus precluding any counter-invasion of Greece. So you see my plans are not as frivolous as you allege. I've met all sorts on the islands of the Aegean, philosophers, pentathletes, and plenty of talented marksmen seeking adventure. I could send for some.
Nothing like artillery fire to make you concentrate on your work, eh? Keep it up, engineers!
moment this causeway reaches Tyre, I want every man ready to break into the city. We have overcome the larger part of the danger. Prepare now to sink your teeth into the fruit of your labors.
Easy going from here. Those walls are only, what, 100 cubits high, perhaps?
The causeway is complete. Look at those grey faces on the battlements. Not so brave without the sea to guard you, eh?
Break down those gates! Then we press on to the palace and claim this city.
The Temple of Melkart. But she was so insolently barred. Lies open to you now. Go, Alexander. Gain the blessings of your ancestor Heracles.
Lion-skinned Heracles, slayer of giants. You who sacked the hallowed heights of Troy even before Achilles and Odysseus. I offer you these libations. Finely pressed olive oil and honeyed wine. Hermes, protector of heralds. Zeus, Xenios, punisher of wrongs. I feel you at my back as I tear through these sin-soaked boulevards. Bear me on with righteous fury.
The city is ours, Alexander. Men begged to be let loose. The siege was a trying one. They want vengeance for our murdered emissaries.
Sack it.
The Tyrians paid an awful price for defying Alexander. Thousands were slaughtered in the city. Thousands more crucified along the beach. The rest sold into slavery, condemned like the women of Troy to know ever after that once they had ruled a great city by the shore. In Egypt, Alexander received a more favorable reception. The Egyptians had always chafed under Persian rule, and so when Alexander arrived, they hailed him as a liberator. They proclaimed him Pharaoh, the incarnation of Ra. And Alexander blessed his new subjects with a magnificent city, Alexandria, crowning the rich Nile Valley. Having seized the jewel of Darius' empire, Alexander turned once more to defeating his rival in battle. Darius sent messenger after messenger, desperately suing for peace.
30,000 talents of silver. All the territory west of the Euphrates. Co-rulership of the Achaemenid Empire.
If I were you, I would accept.
So would I, if I were Parmenion.
His final offer rejected, Darius gathered an army once more. They awaited Alexander at Gaugamela, arrayed in their thousands upon a grim and dusty plain. The great king ordered the place cleared of any vegetation, so that his vicious scythed chariots would have no obstacle between them and their prey. On the eve of battle, beneath the indifferent stars, the armies of Darius and Alexander slept fitfully, knowing that on the morrow, they would decide the fate of empires.
Make your preparations, men. Take your rest and pray to whichever god has shown you most favor. When the morning comes, we shall contest the greatest battle since the days of Hector and Achilles.
Why do we not strike in the night? We are few and they are countless. A sneak attack is our only hope.
I will not steal a victory, Parmenion. By the light of day, I shall look Darius in the eyes and slay him.
This will be our tightest battle yet, Alexander. When things get rough, we might need to resort to some desperate measures.
You've accumulated quite a variety of mounts. What will suit us best here? Trained and disciplined? Or wild and dangerous?
There is still time to retreat, Alexander. Overcome your hubris for once in your life.
Oh, you are a miserable cur, Parmenion. You give the name of prudence to your cowardice, but I know your quivering heart.
What will it do for Macedon to have thousands of her sons die on this miserable plain? I cannot consent to this recklessness.
Are you the king, Parmenion? Does the blood of Heracles flow through your veins? Get you to your post.
The sun rises. The hour is upon us.
Soldiers! You men with hearts of lions! Our foes outnumber us, yes. I won't understate the danger, for that would understate the glory that will be our prize. Half the world has been brought to face us, and they shall bear word of our strength to every corner of the earth when we scatter them in rout.
We cannot stand against these numbers. We shall all die here, defeated and disgraced, unburied in a foreign land to which we never should have come.
Soldiers, go show the old man how to fight.
No shirkers in my battalion. Much appreciated, Alexander.
Hands up those wounded horses!
This is folly, Alexander! Is your mind so filled with mad dreams and your ears so stuffed with flattery that you cannot see the plain truth?
You are a dog-faced lackey, man! What achievements has Parmenion to his name, save being King Philip's favorite stooge and King Alexander's foremost doubter?
Take leaves over, lads. If you've still got 4 limbs, pick up your pikes and get to the front. If not, use your feet. Agrianians, front! Do King Langaros proud.
Some help over here!
Get these supplies over to Parmenion. Baggage handlers have been promoted. Grab any weapon you can, lads.
Here is your chance, Greeks. Vengeance against the Mede. Artemis, guide your eyes and steady your hands.
Keep those ranks tight!
Shield-shattering Ares, drive us on! How fool Parmenion is faltering, Alexander! Thundering Zeus, I'll be overrun before too long! The day is lost! All is lost! No shirkers in my battalion! Perdiccas signals for aid!
Get these supplies over to Parmenion! Agrianian, strut! New King Langaros proud!
The day is lost! All is lost! Catch up those wounded horses!
Parmenion is too proud to signal for aid, but by the gods he needs it, Alexander. Sick leave's over, lads. If you've still got 4 limbs, pick up your pikes and get to the front. If not, use your teeth. Baggage handlers, you've been promoted. Grab any weapon you can, lads. Agrianian, strut! New King Langaros proud!
Here is your chance, Greeks. Vengeance against the Mede. Artemis, guide your eyes and steady your hands.
Get this unmixed wine down you!
Their attacks falter. Darius falters, staggers, reels like a gut-punched wrestler. Forward now! We strike the final blow! Darius! Where is that gleaming chariot? That royal crown!
The Persians flee the field! You've done it, Alexander!
I want Darius! Where is Darius? No man dismount! I want Darius found!
Alexander was determined that Darius would not get away from him a second time. Over jagged hills and shifting dunes, Alexander chased the great king, urging his swift riders on through freezing desert nights and days cruelly elongated by the summer sun. But when Alexander finally caught up with his foe, Darius lay dying in the dirt, amidst upturned wagons and mules broken from exhaustion. The great king of Persia bled out, murdered by his own men. Alexander had Darius's body cleaned and dressed, and returned to his mother. And so, a mere 5 years after he inherited the crown of Macedon, Alexander seized the diadem of Persia, a king of kings, to be sure. The killers of Darius he hunted down. The cities that resisted his rule he stormed. But in truth, most of the Persian governing class willingly exchanged one king for another. Power such as Alexander now possessed is rarely left untroubled. Alexander caught word of a plot to kill him, hatched within his own court. The would-be assassins were rounded up and executed. Among them, Philotas, son of Parmenion. Philotas had known of the conspiracy, but said nothing. A crime, Alexander declared, as heinous as the plot itself. But what of Parmenion? The moment he learned that his son had been executed, he would be sure to act. And he had thousands of loyal men beneath him. No. He too would have to die.
Armed and belted men in my tent. So, he's finally decided to do away with me.
Will you resist, sir?
No, I won't. But tell the boy king this. The gods cannot abide excess.
We shall build my city here, in this crude and hostile waste, this primordial tract. Yes, that will be a feat worthy of a crown, since Darius denied me a duel.
A city is a hungry beast. We should begin resource production immediately. More houses means more people. And that means more citizens toiling in the fields, paying their taxes, filling our stores. A fine start. From here, we might build any number of new districts. We could further expand resource production, or build mustering grounds for soldiers or defenses. Let your desire guide us, Alexander.
There's a settlement to the south, Sogdians, I believe. They surely know this land better than we ever will. We ought to establish contact. The local Scythians haven't taken kindly to our presence. Nomads rarely appreciate cities being built next to their pastures. They're massing an attack in the west.
Foul creatures, those Scythian horses, vicious as Cerberus and just as ugly. I wager the Scythians wouldn't fight half as well on their own 2 feet.
We should inspire these locals with our grand project. Make a speech, Perdiccas.
Right. Sogdians! Come out of those dirty hovels in which you live like goats and swine, and change your threadbare trousers for a clean white tunic. Embrace urban living like civilized folk.
From now on, Hephaestion will make the speeches. Sogdians! We wish only for fair exchange. Seeking goods we lack, and warriors who know the country.
No city grows great without the blessing of the gods. We should make offerings to secure their favor.
Is no one going to see it? Are we just going to build our jolly city and forget all about Parmenion? He was a loyal soldier.
Loyal also to his treacherous son. You know as well as I do that after the traitor's execution, a judgment with which we all agreed, Parmenion would have incited his men against me.
First of our Persian regiments has finished its training. How should they be armed? I require a literate and numerate man to administer the Sogdian embassy. A role far from glorious combat, but there will be double pay for the volunteer who swaps his spear for a stylus.
I know my letters, sir. And that double pay would be spent worthily. I made some rather lavish promises to Artemis, and statues are, surprisingly expensive.
Erebos? Aye, boy, I haven't seen you since Thebes. I thought you might have given up soldiering. Yeah, but I suppose you've got to pay off those debts somehow, huh? Look at these muscle-bound steeds. Eh? No show ponies, these. They're bred for war. Ours now.
Where once was naught but dust and mud, a mighty city now arises. More Scythians on the horizon. There are no scattered bands this time. This is their king's host, and he means to test us in full.
I don't mean to be a bother, but the Sogdians are looking a little agitated. Stringing bows, sharpening spears, that sort of thing.
I may not have liked Parmenion. Nobody liked Parmenion. But he deserved more respect than any of you ever gave him. And he deserved better than to be stabbed in the night.
You are drunk, Clytus. I shall put it down to your unfamiliarity with the local fermented mare's milk. But you should take to your tent now. I will affix my name to no mere frontier outpost. This must be a true city, and into it we must bring something marvelous, something inspiring to the soul.
The Sogdians have betrayed us! Abandoned the embassy! Oh, Artemis, get me out of here, and I'll find a plump cow for you. No, a hefty black bull. Ah, an oryx, yes, with immense horns.
Get those horses properly shod. We shall have a race. The fiery horses of the Scythian steppe, here in Alexandria. I have claimed these lands, and I shall purge from them all who would do harm to my subjects.
The local hillmen have got my battalion pinned down on the eastern flank. We can repel their attacks, but we'll need help if you want to wipe them out.
What would Philip have said about founding cities in the middle of nowhere, just for the sake of it? What would Parmenion have said?
Parmenion would have grumbled and pontificated like a sanctimonious sophist. He never did appreciate glory. He was not fit to be a leader of men, and we are all better off without his constant naysay.
The Scythian king masses his thundering hordes here, an unassailable host.
I thought I'd never be rid of those rabid hillmen. Though, I'm sure their cousins and half-cousins and illegitimate sprogs will be along to cave my head in soon enough. Still, till then, I'm yours to command. An offering like that would keep Zeus sated for weeks. Get it back to the city.
Father Zeus, far-seeing thunderer, master of Olympus, accept this offering and bless this city, O King of all gods, that it may prosper beneath your sky. Flee! Flee back to the scrublands, to the waste! I am Alexander, Lord of war and founder of cities. Apollo and Ares alike watch over my work. Now that I wear the diadem of the Achaemenids, it is right that I should plant gardens. Turn idle earth to blooming paths. Yes, a paradisus.
From naught but dust, a grand city, where there was desolation, life. Many cities now bear your name, Alexander. This is the most extraordinary of all.
Alexander founded many cities that bore his name. This one he named Alexandria Escate, meaning the furthest. Here, on the edge of the known world, beset by foes and vexed by the barren landscape, Alexander raised his improbable city, an attestation that every last parasang of the Persian Empire was his to order. Yet beyond the borders of the empire he had just conquered, there were lands vaster and richer than even the sprawling Persian realm. India, a place little understood by the Greeks, who traded tales of a land where giant ants dug for gold in the rich hillsides, where rivers of honey flowed from rocks, where men lived 100 or even 200 years, untroubled by pains. They spoke of men with one giant foot, with which they sheltered themselves from the sun. Men with the heads of dogs, and men with no heads at all, who had their faces in their chests. I shall let you decide the veracity of these stories for yourself. In one respect, though, the land of the 5 rivers was much like anywhere else. It was endlessly contested by rival kings. On one side of the river Hydaspes lay the realm of Takshila, ruled by the young king Ambi, who had recently gained the throne after his father was murdered. On the other side of the Hydaspes, another king ruled, Horus, the man who had recently murdered Ambi's father. This being as good a pretext as any for another round of fighting, the 2 kings gathered their armies, made extravagant promises to their mercenaries, and prepared to wage war.
Ambi! You march into my lands, build a nest to hide yourself in, then send others to assault me. At least your father gave me a decent fight before I smote him.
You are without honor, Horus, and your love for war is unseemly. My raiders will ravage your lands, and your own rivers will carry my reinforcements.
Ambi moans about honor, yet ravages these poor villages. Let all see my munificence. I shall rectify this senseless vandalism at my own cost. Paying bandits to fight your battles, Ambi. Let's see you get those soft hands dirty, you chinless cretin.
What's the going rate for a mercenary these days? I might have a business opportunity for you boys.
Come out and meet me on the field, Ambi. Your ancestors would weep to see such cowardice.
I will not cease until my father is avenged and your dishonor punished.
You talk about honor from behind your high walls? Your father would be ashamed, you indolent, gutless, whimpering waste of skin. Wise Lord Ganapati shows us that knowledge begets prosperity. I shall be patron of scholars and soldiers alike. Fine-looking horses. They're no elephants, but they'll do. Crawl back to Takshila, you squalid pilferers. Any who try to plunder my kingdom will meet with death. Go back to snatching purses and loitering on highways. You let that little runt Ambi chain you up? Get up and get at him! That weasel has never-ending reserves of gormless peons to call upon. Forts. I want forts blocking their path. How long have you boys been locked up here? Get back in the fight! Huntsmen, the raiders that prey upon your towns are vanquished. Now, gather up your bows of tapered bamboo, and I shall lead you against the worm who ordered these attacks. I pity your people, Ambi. serves to such a spineless ruler? How long after I slay you before they even notice you're gone?
I fill the libraries of Attila with Vedic texts. I finance astrologers and grammarians and poets. You sponsor only cutthroats and brigands. You should have saved those bricks. You'll need them to build a tomb big enough for your oversized corpse.
Oh-ho! Some brass from the boy. If only he could back it up with steel. Return to your marketplaces, loyal subjects. I require no thanks, no gifts. Very well, one gift.
There is a king coming from the west for us. He rides a black horse that feeds on bronze and breathes out fire, whose men fight with spears that extend across rivers. Already, I have sent messengers to him.
Let him come! A man worth fighting. I was starting to think I'd never find another. In shame or in fear?
Your triumph will be short-lived, you intemperate warmonger. You have too many enemies. Either I, or the Cathaeans, or the Glausai, or the king from the west will finish you.
These are my lands, boy. Any foreign king who steps foot in them will end up flat beneath an elephant's foot.
Back at the court of Alexander, things grew fractious. Now that he was king of Persia, Alexander was beginning to adopt Persian customs, including the practice of prostration before the king. To many of Alexander's Greek and Macedonian followers, this gesture seemed not only servile, but blasphemous. An honor reserved solely for the gods. At a banquet, Clytus, ever the straight-talker, confronted the king. Both men were deeply drunk.
What is this, Alexander? You dress in foreign finery. You consult with eunuchs and magi. If a Macedonian wants an audience with you, he has to beg it from some pompous Persian courtier, and then prostrate himself like a slave. Have you forsaken your own kinsman?
Shut your wretched mouth, Clytus. If it weren't for me, you'd be fending off Thracian goat thieves from some hillside hovel.
No! If it weren't for your father, you'd have no army, no victories, no glory. Without your father, you would be nothing. And if he could see you now, he'd be ashamed.
Alexander wrenched a spear from a nearby guard, hurled it across the room, and struck Clytus dead. Alexander looked upon the lifeless face of the man he had once called friend. The man who had saved his life at the Chronicles. And Alexander wept. All through the night, all through the following day, his grief tortured him. A procession of friends and comrades, courtiers and flatterers, philosophers and wise men came to him, trying to soothe his guilty soul. But what roused him from his melancholy was a force greater, deeper than any grief. His yearning. India awaited. A chance not just for conquest, but to follow in the footsteps of the god Dionysus, to witness marvels unseen by any Greek, to reach the outer sea that girdled the earth itself.
These monsoon rains. I've never seen a river so swollen.
Would that Clytus were here to advise us. Would that frenzied Dionysus had not drowned my wits with wine. We shall press on with stout hearts, as Clytus would have wanted.
Oh, Alexander, your arrival is a blessing. Accept what little aid my destitute kingdom can offer, and heed this warning. That king across the river, Porus is his name, and he is a beast, coarse and foul and vicious, a lover of violence and a worshipper of hate.
That is well with me, friend. I have been seeking a worthy foe.
Nonetheless, I should warn you, though his main force lies across the river, he will send his wicked hirelings to harass you here.
Enemy sighted. Get in position. It'll be slow going for them through that mud. Oi, Niarchos. You told me there'd be marvels in India. Griffins and talking birds and giant gold-digging ants. So far, mainly mud.
Patience, man. Ctesias wrote of all those things and many more. Manticores, dog-headed men, 7-cubit river worms. And we have no reason to believe he lied.
I've waited long enough. The boy is clearly a coward. Across the river, men!
We have some spare mounts and men deserving promotion to the cavalry. How should they be equipped? By the fetid barge pole of Charon, I'm moist. Everything here is moist. I shall never be dry again.
Dionysus came to this land. He taught the people to make wine and till the soil. And Heracles, too, came here, fathering many children.
And I shall have no shortage of worthy foes.
I think I'm coming down with fever, you know. Oh, which god have I offended to be stuck out here? Remains of an old settlement here. If Porus is canny, he'll lay an ambush.
Ambush! Close ranks and repel!
Dig in and hold, men. Our foe will not wait to send his forces upon us. Bucephalus hasn't taken water today. Won't drink at all. Hephaestus, does this mean something, you think?
If it is a portent, it is a good one. We shall be masters of this river, and so Bucephalus will not lack for water.
Flank their positions!
They lurk among the trees and roots here. Bamboo bows tightly strung. Grab that mule and the cart it's hitched to. Half of ours are dead of bottomland fever.
We have our footholds. Now maintain these positions, no matter what the foe may hurl against you.
By Hades, what's that sound?
Elephants! Pikemen, front! Don't waste your strikes on the elephants' hides! Stab for the eyes and hamstrings! Or wait until they rear up and into the underbelly!
Courage, men! Observe, a sign! A vast-winged osprey swooped down upon the river and plucked from it a fish near twice its size. You see, outnumbered though we are, the fates have it that we shall possess this river.
Hold! Hold! We are lions, teeth deep in the barking buffalo, and however hard the beast thrashes and kicks and rages, we shall subdue it! Now here's a man who knows how to fight. He may be pasty and short and skinny, but he plunges into the fray like a leaping leopard. Let's have it out, Alexander! Press on, you warriors! You killers! Oh, baneful Eris! Hate-filled spirit of strife! We are yours! To me, men! If we are to die, it will be with blood, with carnage, with so fierce and ruinous a slaughter that the earth will groan beneath the bodies!
Oh, glorious day! You do the impossible once again, Alexander. Clytus would be proud.
Unlike Darius, Porus did not flee. He fought on, even as his army routed and his elephants were dragged shrieking to the ground. At last, worn out by wounds, Porus was captured and brought before his foe.
Tell me, how do you wish to be treated?
Like a king.
Admiring Porus's strength and nobility, Alexander not only spared him, he made him the latest satrap of his ever-expanding empire. Alexander gained one friend that day, but he lost another.
His wounds were too great, my lord.
No. He has overcome worse than this.
We all have our limits, sire.
And so the Macedonians prepared to march again. It had been 8 years since they set out from home. They had won innumerable battles, founded cities, plundered more wealth than any man would know what to do with. Yet still they were driven on by their insatiable king. And so the men began to wonder, would they ever return home to enjoy their spoils and sire children to hear their stories? Or would Alexander push them on until they collapsed?
Cathayans! Word may not have reached you of what I did to the Thebans and Tyrians. Lay down your arms, for like Dionysus, I show no mercy to those who refuse me. So be it. Form up and advance. Flee behind your walls, cowards! No citadel has stooled me yet, and I have faced grander fortresses than yours. Move up, Perdiccas! The city of Sangala is to be completely surrounded. Hephaestion send word to King Porus I shall need siege equipment. Until then, we keep the Cathayans locked inside Sangala. Not a man, not a child, not a stray dog is to flee and live.
They're massing at the gates. An escape attempt.
Cut them off and cut them down. Plunder that car. No one is to take personal booty until we breach the city. Anything you recover from these runaways is to be put to the common store.
No doubt they'll try to escape again. And Sangala has more than one gate through which they might slip.
Pen them in and block off any who try to leap. If they will not fight like men, they will die like pigs.
Are they hunting? Multiple groups trying to leave at once, and not all of them are sticking to the roads.
I hunted my foes in the rocky hills of Thrace. I bridged the sea to seize Tyre. I pursued the great king of Persia through deserts and mountains. I will not allow grocers and farmhands to slip away from me.
What exactly are we doing here, Alexander? These are Porus's enemies, not ours.
Is your appetite for glory slackened, Perdiccas? Porus is my governor now, my satrap, and any tribe that defies either of us is a deadly foe to my empire. Any who trade with the Cathayans are also our enemies, and their goods are to be considered booty. Bucephalus deserves a city in his name. A city like him, full of passion. A town of reveries and festivals, loud like the thundering herd. As majestic as Athens, and as decadent as Corinth.
King Porus sends word. He'll soon be here, though the siege equipment slows him considerably. He offers to send a contingent ahead to you.
I've still not seen any marvels, Niarchos. Just the usual piles of corpses. When am I going to see an Amazon?
They are slipping through on your side, Perdiccas. Are you lacking in wits or in guts?
Perhaps adjust your expectations. I showed you a talking bird. That multicolored marvel, the parrot, and all you did was teach it obscenities.
In men, Alexander. I need assistance on this side. Please, my friend.
Perdiccas is rather stretched, I must say. We must deploy troops to the left side.
Too many have slipped through. I will not allow these pusillanimous renegades to make a fool of me. Hephaestion, have you heard these rumours that Perdiccas speaks of? Men wavering.
You've always had doubters. First they said don't cross into Asia, then don't cross the Granicus, then we would die at Gaugamela or at the Hydaspes. Every battle you fought, every city you founded, someone has doubted your vision. But always, always, you saw things true.
Oh. I smell the reek of slaughter. A miserable lot, these Cathayans. Vain, preening, arrogant braggarts. Dyeing their beards ridiculous colors. carrying inside their walls whenever someone offers them combat.
Would that all my foes would face me in the open field as you did, Horace. Like the kings of Homer. But we live in a sordid age. A wretched age. This age of iron.
Warrior kings, your evasive tactics, your skullduggery, your shirking the glorious clash of arms, this will hold no longer.
This is just the beginning, Alexander.
Further east, there are lands where gold covers the earth like wheat in a field, and its rulers, the redoubtable Nanders. Oh, they are men worth fighting.
Now all India sees, as every Greek and Thracian and Persian has seen, that any who impede me I shall destroy utterly. The defiant I shall slaughter, and the humble I shall welcome, as we march now to the great ocean that encircles the world. I have heard rumors, men, that your conviction is faltering. That some among you wish to turn back and leave our conquest incomplete. Do you not know what lies beyond this river? Lands lusher than you have ever seen. Riches that Croesus would envy. Glory, oh, what glory, to rival Heracles himself. Silence. Speak, someone, I am no tyrant.
We love you, Alexander. Truly we do. But we want to go home.
East is the Ganges, which empties into the great sea that girdles the earth and will bear us back to Macedon. East is the way, east we shall go.
But still the silence persisted. The men refused to go on. Like Achilles sulking at Troy, Alexander withdrew to his tent. For 2 days, he spoke to no one, his heart filled with terrible rage. Armies are fickle. Perhaps the men would reconsider their refusal, whether from shame, or fear, or duty. Or perhaps the gods who had shown Alexander such favor would send a sign that none could ignore. No such portent came, nor did the army's grief turn to compliance. And so Alexander at last agreed to take them home. But, as you might expect, he wasn't simply going to take them back the way they came. They would build ships, sail down the Hydaspes until it joined with the river Indus, and then onto the sea. Any who stood in their path, they would conquer, filling the glittering river with bloated corpses.
There is no road home but the one we carve into the earth. Take that city. Or do you renounce fighting as well as marching?
You know, the Oxydracians and the Malloy usually despise one another. It is only our arrival that made them form an alliance. The city of Multan dominates this region. Like a hornet queen, she is large and imposing, but relies on her subjects. Conquer the outlying cities, and Multan will lie exposed. While Multan is the primary naval base, the outlying Malloy cities are where the foe's land forces are concentrated.
We shall need a fleet with a flagship worthy of my majesty. Hostile ships course through these rivers like poison in the veins. We shall cleanse them. The first buttress of Molten's power is smashed, and I shall shatter the rest, one by one.
A crying shame that the men wouldn't go on, truly is. But, you know, Alexander, they have a point. It's been nearly a decade since we saw Macedon.
What glory would Heracles have gained if he confined himself to Tyrins or Argos? You should be thanking me for saving you from a life of border skirmishes with half-dressed Illyrians.
Time to march.
Multan sits in the river like a toad on a lily pad. They entrust their defense to their ships, which they will send upon us relentlessly.
What glories we leave to wither, what sights we leave unseen. Nearchos, do you not wish to spar with griffins and manticores, rather than cut your way through obstinate tribesmen on this premature return?
Perhaps on a future expedition. For now, my logbooks are filled with accounts and drawings of extraordinary things, and we may yet see more on the voyage home.
A warlike people, these. They see the approach of our scarred and scowling host and do not scatter.
I've still not seen any monsters, you know. Except these mosquitoes, slurping up my blood, drunk and bloated like satyrs at a wedding.
Soon we shall reach the coast, and then you'll be sharing wine with the Nereids.
Where is that little man with the nervous expression? The one I put in charge of the accounts. He has fresh plunder to tally.
Coming, sir. You're quite sure that all the defenders are dead?
Once we reach the southern coast and launch into the ocean, what a voyage we shall have. A fresh breeze, the horizon filled with opportunity, and no more walking everywhere.
And don't forget the sunburn, the cramped quarters, the hard tack. What do you mariners put in those ship's biscuits anyway?
I am vexed, Hephaestus. These soldiers are old, dear as brothers, cared for as sons, but their petty concerns, their lack of will, their rejection of glory. Sometimes I feel stranded, as though some unfoldable God separates me from my own kind.
You are touched by the divine. A burden and a blessing both. Many of the local tribes hate the Malloy. 2 of them have offered us their soldiers. But since they also hate each other, we can only accept one.
What a preposterous situation. Ah, gleaming trident of Poseidon, what a vessel! I won't have to step foot on it, will I?
Not seasick, are you? The indomitable Perdiccas fears something after all. Unfurl sails! This village sits upon a shallow tidal basin, a fair spot to moor the flagship, which can then serve as a forward command post. The local timber has some very curious qualities. I've been working on a couple of potential improvements to the flagship. in oars and furl sails. Get this ship onto dry land. While beached, the flagship will act as our forward base. When ready, we can move her to the next location.
The city is ours. I see brave Leonatus on the battlements, and Bucestus, and... Where is the king? Perdiccas, where is Alexander? Alexander! Alexander!
The arrow is stuck in his lung! Fetch the physician!
No, Perdiccas! Cut it out of me! Now, man!
Alexander's body was by now as scarred and slashed as a butcher's block, and this new wound was the deepest yet. Perhaps, having escaped death once again, he ought to have considered a reduction in his adventuring. On the contrary, it only reinforced his sense of invincibility. When he reached the southern coast, Alexander announced that the bulk of his army would not be sailing home. Rather, they would trek through the vast Gedrosian desert.
Oi, Niarchos, you're not leaving without me.
This will be a voyage of research and discovery, not a drunken cruise. Well, who knows? We might find something so wondrous that it mollifies Alexander. Anyway, I thought you hated being at sea. Look what we found. A Hauma plant. Cyrus the Great himself would drink its restorative juices. We should seek out more treasures.
Hey, that's one of our flags. There must be Macedonians nearby. Let's have a look. Erebos? Ha! Still haven't paid off your debts, I take it?
No, not even close. Hence I'm here, in the middle of the desert, fighting goodness knows who. Leonatus was meant to be in charge, but he's got a spot of dysentery. Maybe you could lead the attack.
What a find. A cloak of the richest vermilion, a brilliant scarlet. Like a shimmering fall of rubies.
Yeah, it is certainly... rare.
Wild date palms. You can cut the hearts out of them. Somewhat edible, if things get really rough. Behold, gentle villagers, the pelts of the lions that ravaged you. Now, we demand no lavish reward, but we are collectors of curiosities. Oh, yes, a diadem made of coral. Its colour richer than any in the Aegean.
Booze! I want booze! Ah, thank you, sirs. Take me with you. I speak many of the local languages with increasing eloquence as I imbibe.
Exotic gardens, covered in myrtle. Dionysus must have set foot here. We shall bring this to Alexander. Perhaps this might lift that malaise which has settled over him. It is said that the island just off this coast is cursed. Nosala is its name, home to a particularly libidinous Nereid, who turns her lovers into fish.
Niarchos, Perdiccas, what great fortune this is. The army and the king are just inland. Come north. To see you will raise the whole army's spirits.
My king, the voyage proceeds commendably, and we are preparing a trove of treasures that will delight you, I'm certain. How goes the desert journey?
The going is hard. Down to the donkeys we are suffering. but we shall persist. The next time we meet, it will be at Susa. Now go.
Are you the proprietor of this fine bazaar? It's your lucky day. I require some supplies, banal things, necessities, but in exchange, I have something that will delight a man of your evident taste. Have you heard of tweezers? The tomb of Erythranes. You know, Perdiccas, the Erythraean Sea is named for him.
Oh, you! Stay with the flagship! We wouldn't tolerate this sort of thing in the army. The signet ring of Erythraes. What a well-stocked tomb.
How pious these people are. They leave sheep and goats on this island. For Hermes and Aphrodite, I should think. Scribe, make a note of that.
Oh, what is that stench? Like a Cyclops' chamber pot. Is that... That's a whale!
Very observant, Perdiccas. Here, dab this lavender oil under your nose, and let's get the ambergris loaded up. It may reek now, but a skilled perfume maker will make from it a rich attar.
Good to see that not everybody around here wants to fight us. Welcome aboard, friends.
Ho there, fisherman. Your village looks a sorry state. Pirates, I take it. I tell you what, my friend Perdiccas here is a mighty warrior. The Minotaur of Macedon, they call him. He'll take care of the pirates, and then you give us some of those pearls.
Look at these pearls, as big as duck eggs. Oh, I wish they were duck eggs.
Perdiccas, this must be one of the famed gymnosophists.
I think it's just an old man. Still not seen a proper marvel out here. You know, back in the market at Pella, there's a man who'll charge you 3 obels to see a dead triton. Now that's a real marvel.
That was a monkey sewn to a porpoise.
Well then, it was a marvel of embroidery. A little golden chariot. You sure this will please Alexander? Maybe he could hitch a mouse to it and ride it into battle. Leave this to me, Niarchos. Greetings, merchants. Ah, that frankincense smells divine. Here, in exchange, I offer this Macedonian delicacy. Ship's biscuits, they're called. Oh, eat one, and you'll swear you were supping ambrosia with the gods.
Now, this is a treasure. A rhyton shaped like a tiger's head. Even the whiskers are perfectly rendered. Ivy-wreathed Dionysus must indeed have travelled here. These gardens would not bloom without his blessing.
Blockade ahead. I'm a soldier, not a sailor. Get me onto dry land and I'll deal with this. Plain sailing from here. On we go.
We return. Our logbooks filled with wondrous sketches and laden with treasures to delight Lord Alexander. The desert march went well, I hope?
We survived. Now come. I shall take you to the king.
Alexander's march through the desert had taken a terrible toll. The sands had swallowed countless men, their strength sapped by disease or thirst or long festering wounds. Why confront the desert? To claim the glory of overcoming it? Or to punish the army that had refused to indulge his ambitions? Only the gods know now. And there were graver losses yet to come.
Not you, Hephaestion. Anyone but you.
I would have followed you to the ends of the earth, Alexander.
As Achilles grieved for Patroclus, so Alexander grieved for Hephaestion. An epic anguish. Biting sorrow mingled with thundering rage. Like a storm cloud, gathering up its fierce energy as it rolls across the darkening sky. Alexander convulsed with wrath that demanded release. His black gaze fell upon the Kasaans, who dwelt among the craggy mountains of the Zagros. In baneful silence, the great conqueror led his men into the hills for the final time.
What are your orders, Alexander?
Die, Trojans, all the way to Ilium, you in flight and I wreaking slaughter behind. One by one you shall die, till you have paid for the death of Patroclus and the ruin of the Greeks. Let those be my orders. Sing, goddess, the wrath of Achilles, son of Peleus, that dreadful wrath which brought countless agonies upon the Achaeans, and sent many souls of heroes unto Hades, made them a feast for dogs and birds, and the will of Zeus was done. Where are the goats and heifers? I want them up here, ready for sacrifice.
They won't cooperate, my king. They bellow and thrash and twist and... Oh, this is an ill omen.
Is that it, men of the mountains? You warriors of stone, of granite, sturdy as boulders. Well, where are you?
What's that noise?
Embrace the coming tide and the test of arms! You veterans, who have fought through deserts and storms and pestilential marshes, to your ears, this roaring foe should sound sweet as the lyre! And you new recruits, let that raw zeal course like molten iron in your veins!
How many are they? What torrent of fury and bronze have we unleashed?
Heracles! Killer of giants, slayer of beasts, the ruin of villainous men, and obstinate tyrants and scornful princes, fill us with your strength! Give me a battle fit for the age of heroes!
All reserves forward! On the baggage handlers! On the muleteers! Thundering Zeus, on the mules if you can!
Let there be such carnage that the Keres themselves, those black-winged spirits of slaughter, will recoil and cry, no! No more! No more, O Lord of Death!
O Poseidon, all my life I have shown you reverence, made sacrifices upon 100 shores, and you have sheltered me from waves and tempests. Preserve me once more through this maelstrom of death.
Up, men, up! Your comrades need you! We made it through Persia, through India, and by Almighty Zeus, we shall make it through this too!
Oh, Ares, who delights in strife! What a show of carnage we stage! Come down! Thunder through the fray in your swift chariot, your golden reins in one hand, and flaming spear in the other! Death! Death! Oh, you jealous gods! With what sour hearts do you inflict this fate upon me? Not blessed to die at the height of my glory, no! Forced to battle on while all I love is stolen from me!
Oh, they flee! Oh, thank the gods! Oh, come, Alexander. Enough blood for one day. Home is calling. Soft chairs, family, and a warming fireplace.
What would I know of such things? All my life I have been at war. The battlefield is my home and the funeral pyre is my hearth. Violence is in me. The blazing blood of Heracles flows in these veins. No, I was not made to live gently.
Like Heracles, driven mad by Hera's hand, Alexander slaughtered the Chasseans without pity, soaking the hills crimson. And then, sated, he was alone once more. Hephaestion, Clytus, Bucephalus, Parmenion, they had all crossed the Styx. And how many brave men besides? How many soldiers had left Macedon as keen-eyed youths, only to heave their last breaths on some distant and desolate plain? At last Alexander, who had seen so much death, confronted it himself. Some spoke of disease, others of poison. Perhaps the many wounds finally wore him down, or the drink, or the grief. Even the greatest have their limits.
You must choose a successor, Alexander. To whom will the kingdom pass?
To the strongest.
And with that, the mighty heart stilled. Bereft, filled with sorrow and regret, his dreams of world conquest thwarted, the blazing star burnt out. But how brightly it had shone. He was too much for this world. Too spirited, too ambitious, too bold. Should he really be faulted for that? As for the empire he forged, well, as you might expect, bequeathing your realm to the strongest is hardly conducive to a smooth transition of power. Alexander's generals immediately set to fighting one another, pulling the empire apart like stray dogs tearing at a hunk of meat. No empire would ever be so rapidly gained or so suddenly shattered. Let me rest my tired voice now. And then I shall tell you of another empire. One that rose slowly, patiently, relentlessly, and endured.
They've killed Chitamus. Avenge him!